Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, was a towering figure in both American and world history. Leading the nation through two of the greatest crises of the 20th century, the Great Depression and World War II, FDR not only reshaped the role of the federal government but also became a central architect of Allied victory. His leadership, vision, and unyielding resolve helped transform the United States from an isolationist power into the arsenal of democracy. A nation on the brink. When Roosevelt first took office in 1933, the United States was in the depths of the Great Depression. His New Deal reforms aimed to stabilize the economy, provide relief to struggling Americans, and restore public confidence in government. But by the late 1930s, a new threat loomed, not from within but from abroad. As fascism spread across Europe and militarism rose in Asia, Roosevelt increasingly turned his attention to the international stage. Despite a strong isolationist mood in Congress and among the public, Roosevelt recognized the growing danger posed by Nazi Germany, Fascist Italy, and Imperial Japan, preparing for a world at war. Before the U.S. formally entered the war, Roosevelt carefully laid the groundwork to support the Allies. Lend-Lease Act, 1941. This allowed the U.S. to supply Britain, the Soviet Union, China, and other Allied nations with war materials, including tanks, aircraft, and food, without directly entering the conflict. Roosevelt famously described it as lending a garden hose to a neighbor whose house is on fire. Atlantic Charter. In August 1941, FDR met with British Prime Minister Winston Churchill aboard a ship off the coast of Newfoundland. Together, they outlined shared goals for the post-war world, including self-determination, economic cooperation, and freedom from tyranny. While still maintaining official neutrality, Roosevelt was clearly positioning the U.S. as a crucial supporter of the fight against totalitarianism. Pearl Harbor and a nation transformed. On December 7, 1941, Japan launched a surprise attack on the American naval base at Pearl Harbor, killing over 2,400 Americans and crippling the Pacific Fleet. The next day, Roosevelt addressed Congress in a now famous speech, calling it a date which will live in infamy. Congress declared war on Japan almost unanimously, and within days Germany and Italy declared war on the U.S. Roosevelt's response was swift and decisive. The war effort became a national priority, and under his leadership the U.S. mobilized at an unprecedented scale. The arsenal of democracy. FDR oversaw a dramatic transformation of the American economy. Industrial output. American factories shifted from producing consumer goods to building tanks, airplanes, ships, and weapons. By 1944, the U.S. was producing more war material than all the Axis powers combined. Workforce changes. Millions of Americans, including women and minorities, entered the workforce to fill wartime labor demands. Rosie the Riveter became an icon of female empowerment. Scientific advancement. Roosevelt supported military research, leading to breakthroughs in radar, aviation, and the Manhattan Project, the top-secret program to develop an atomic bomb. Roosevelt's leadership ensured that the United States not only fought but outproduced and outlasted the Axis powers. Commander-in-Chief and global leader. As Commander-in-Chief, Roosevelt worked closely with his military advisors and with Allied leaders like Winston Churchill and Joseph Stalin. He was a key player in major strategic decisions including opening a second front in Europe, which culminated in the D-Day invasion of Normandy in 1944. The defeat of Nazi Germany, through coordinated Allied efforts across North Africa, Italy, and Western Europe. The Pacific Strategy, including the island-hopping campaign that brought U.S. forces closer to Japan. FDR also played a critical role in shaping the post-war world order. He was one of the driving forces behind the creation of the United Nations, an organization designed to promote peace and prevent future global conflicts. Final days and enduring legacy. Despite his declining health, Roosevelt remained in office for an unprecedented fourth term, re-elected in 1944. However, he would not live to see the final victory. On April 12, 1945, just weeks before Germany's surrender, FDR died of a cerebral hemorrhage at the age of 63. Vice President Harry S. Truman took office and later oversaw the final defeat of Japan. But it was Roosevelt's vision, leadership, and policies that had laid the foundation for Allied success.